We all say it. I'll do it tomorrow. But what if tomorrow never comes? How often do you spend regretting something you did that day, or yesterday, or maybe all the way back to your childhood? You think to yourself, I'll do better tomorrow. But again, what if tomorrow never comes? And we all do this over and over again, even though we know deep down it's not helping. We tend to dwell on something we cannot change. You cannot change the past, and tomorrow is not promised. So what does that leave? Well, it leaves only today. Today, you can start anew, learning from past mistakes, and applying lessons learned to live today as if there is no tomorrow. Procrastination, it whispers in our ear. It tells us there's always more time, more chances, more tomorrows. But the truth is, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Not for me, not for you, not for anyone. We push our dreams into the future as if we're on some endless road. I'll call them later. I'll start next week. I'll say I love you tomorrow. But what happens when tomorrow never arrives? Right now, this moment, that's all you really have. The past is gone. The future? Just a concept. It does not exist yet. But now is powerful. The power of now means acting today. It means no longer waiting for the perfect time, because that time may never come. It means showing up, speaking out, standing up in the moment, because today is the only day that is real. We talk about being thankful, but gratitude, it's not just a feeling, it's an action. It's calling that person. It's talking to them. It's saying thank you. It's saying I love you. Forgiving. Letting go. We don't express enough. We don't appreciate enough. We wait. And sometimes we wait too long. Let me share with you a personal experience. From a very early age, I remember idolizing my father. He was all I had. When I was still very young, I'm assuming at about 2 years old, looking at old family pictures, him and my biological mother split up. Well, I went with my father, and my 2 half-sisters went with my biological mother. I've never learned the circumstances of this separation, but nonetheless, I always felt like my mother had abandoned me. And for that reason, and since I was with my father, I always felt like he was my hero. He was all I had. Because of this, I always felt very close to my father. But of course, as it always does, time has a way of smoothing the edges. I grew older. I moved away from home. I went into military service, got married, had kids of my own, and over time, we grew apart. I still felt the same way inside, but I was a man now, and I understood things that I did not understand as a child. You know, I was more familiar with some of his failings. Throughout the years, my father suffered from alcoholism. went from job to job. We lived very poorly, but he was always there. I suppose that our relationship became more distant because of this, because I understood this as I grew older. When I was younger, none of that mattered. When I was older, I understood more, and I realized more of his failings. I didn't fully realize, though, until December of 2008. It was just after Thanksgiving. We had celebrated the Thanksgiving holiday. It was the very beginning of December, and I remember receiving a phone call from a hospital in Seattle. My father had suffered a severe stroke. They found him in his trailer after what we can only assume was days of laying in his bed, unconscious and barely alive. It was actually his landlord who found him because they were coming to collect the rent, and he hadn't shown up to pay his rent. I was forced to make a decision while on the phone to end his life. He was connected to all kinds of machines, and the doctors had told me that that was the only thing keeping him alive. He was basically brain dead at that time. He may not ever regain consciousness, and if he did, it would be short-lived. I had no time to say goodbye. I had no time to tell him how I felt. I had to make that decision. And so the decision was made. They unplugged him, and within seconds, they declared his time of death. You know, and I never got a chance to tell him how I felt, the good, the bad. I never got a chance to tell him that I loved him, that I forgave him for everything that had happened in our lives. Lesson learned. I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. That's part of being human. But don't let your past paralyze your present. Use your past as a teacher. Let it shape you, but not define you. Today, you can begin again. And by beginning now, you can lay the bricks and set the foundation for a better tomorrow. What if we treated every day as our last? Not with fear, but with urgency, with love, with intention. What would you say? What would you do? Who would you forgive? Who would you thank? Today is your gift. Not everyone got one, but you did, so don't waste it. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop waiting for permission. You don't need more time. You need more now, because there is no tomorrow. Tell someone you love them. Start that thing you've been putting off. Live like this is your only shot, because for all we know, it might be. If this video moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear this. And remember, don't wait. Subscribe today.